The aim of this conference and the aim of the Past Antarctic Ice Sheet Dynamics program, which we call PAIS, is to better understand how the Antarctic ice sheet is going to respond to climate change, and particularly as the world warms. So what we do in PAIS is we use geological information. We go back in time to past warm climates, and we try to understand how the Antarctic ice sheet responded. How much did it melt? How much did it contribute to sea level rise around the world? The people are coming from all over the world, from many, many countries. We have just over 200 scientists here. That's really great. It's a perfect number. We can all be in the one room together. We don't have to be in different rooms. And it's really great to be hearing the latest science and also thinking about the big questions we still need to answer.
We basically are discussing recent results and how to develop new program to create some sort of cooperation, to work together, to share efforts, results, data, and of course the cost for the logistics, because going to Antarctica, which is a very remote place, is very expensive, it's very demanding. So we want to, but it's also good to have a sort of cooperation.
Collaboration to me is one of the most important aspects of science. In my experience, it has created what you might say as trust amongst investigators. And this is critical if you want to have a good science program. Not only do you collect the data, but you have to trust one another to share it and work with it together.
The future seems to be one where we're going to see sea level rise, but we're uncertain about how much, and the past can help us to understand that uncertainty and perhaps constrain it. SCAR is the Scientific Committee on Antarctic Research. It's an international, interdisciplinary body of the International Council for Science, and it simply coordinates and facilitates science in, about and from the Antarctic region. It also acts as a vehicle for evidence-based policy into decision-making, not only about the continent itself through the Antarctic Treaty System, and of course the surrounding oceans through the Convention on the Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources, but also to other international agreements such as the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change and several others.
The first step in preparing reports is a consultation of governments and observing organizations, including scientific organizations. Structuring the research community so that scientists from different regions of the world, scientists using different methods can exchange their information is a vibrant part of the research process by itself. And it's also helpful for the IPCC if it can trigger new research being synthesized and published in the peer-reviewed literature on time so that it's available for the IPCC assessments. With respect to the IPCC, we really need the involvement of high-level scientists from all around the world, and especially the young generation. We can only select a few number of authors to write the chapters of the reports, but I would like to invite all of the young scientists and to contribute, and especially through the review process, which is critical for the quality and the rigor of the assessment.
PhD students and young early career scientists, it's critical that they're exposed to these events, and I have seen many young faces, and I think that is completely necessary. Otherwise, where is the next generation of scientists to follow in our footsteps, just like we followed in others' footsteps that are also in the room.
So far the conference has been really interesting for me. I've learnt a lot that I didn't already know and seen some really relevant and helpful presentations.
I met a lot of people that you usually only see in the articles, say like, hey, that name I know, but yeah, and it's good to meet them in person, and it's also nice to catch up with friends from previous conferences.
One of the biggest challenges that we've been talking about is trying to understand what happened to the Antarctic ice sheet during the last interglacial. This is the last time in Earth's history that the Earth was perhaps a little bit warmer than today. And we have some evidence that suggests that the Antarctic ice sheet became smaller and that sea level rose by maybe between 6 and 9 meters relative to today, so much higher than today. We're talking about the importance of understanding that change in Antarctica, because if Antarctica really did become that much smaller just 125,000 years ago, that means that it could change very much in the future, because the future has the potential to be a lot warmer than that past interglacial period.
It's very important to bring together areas of research that tend to operate with their own data sets and get a more integrated view. It's a complex Earth system. My goal in coming to this workshop was to convince people that just work on ice sheet or just work on sea level to consider solid Earth processes when they consider interpretation of their own data.
Earth maintains a record of the past, so integrate the different disciplines that involve ocean, atmosphere and geology is important to understand the complexity of our world.
This is a very interdisciplinary field of science, and we can't move ahead if we don't have these meetings where we exchange knowledge.
I'm a bit of an interloper at this meeting because I have no glaciological background, but I work on all aspects of biodiversity, biogeography and adaptation in Antarctic terrestrial environments. And in many cases in science, some of the most exciting advances are made when you're right at the edge of your discipline. You're out of your comfort zone and you're talking to somebody else who is in the same position. So this is a very stimulating meeting for me.
I think if you want to be an academic in this world, you need to work internationally, you need to work collaboratively, and the only way to do that is to talk to people. You know, we can email and we can Skype, but actually we need to sit down over a table and hash things out, preferably with some food, maybe a drink. That always helps lubricate the ideas, but we need to get together and we need to talk, and conferences like this offer that really important opportunity.
I chose to come to Trieste because this meeting is a centerpiece for all of the best Antarctic research that's being done today and some of the most exciting new research from both senior level researchers and some of the young and upcoming students.
Science isn't just a game or an esoteric pursuit that a small part of our population indulge in. It's actually fundamental to dealing with environmental issues, with climate issues. The big challenge is actually getting the message across.
Involving children in this conference is kind of weird, perhaps, but children are our future. So it would be good to teach them what we do and why we are doing, what's the importance of what we do. And in this way they understand what the scientists are doing, but also they probably become more sensitive to the environment and they start thinking about their future in a different way, and perhaps teach their parents as well once they're back.
I've got colleagues who are also friends now, and that's a really special thing, and I've really enjoyed that throughout my whole career, from a PhD student right through now to going into the professorial stage. You really enjoy those friendships that are built along the way, and that's what makes doing marine science, particularly Antarctic marine science, very special.
You see the camera, not me, the camera, the lens, okay? Are you ready?
What is wonderful about this group is that it has old, well-established scientists, or older, like myself, not too old, but there are lots of young people coming through because they realise we have to solve this problem of global climate change. It's never been more important with the Paris Agreement of stabilising warming at 2 degrees. We have to answer the question, what does 2 degrees mean for Antarctica? Do we prevent some bad things happening, like the Antarctic ice sheets melting and sea level rise? And I think young people are into it. They realise not only is the science cool and really exciting, but it's really important, and they want to be part of this effort to solve the global warming problem and understand how this amazing place works.